So, yo, I got a question. Why does life feel so expensive? Like, even when you're making more money, like, why? 10 years ago, I thought if I made six figures, I'd be set. I really believed that. I thought six figures meant the struggle was over. I thought it meant, you know, I'd own a home, have a nice car, take vacations when I wanted to, and never really worry about money again. Fast forward to today, I own homes. Yes, with an S, plural. I have a beautiful wife, a newborn son, multiple streams of income, and somehow life feels more expensive than ever. And the crazy thing is, I don't think I'm alone. Everywhere I look, people are saying the same thing. They're making more money than they were 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Yet somehow they're struggling more. Grocery costs more, insurance costs more, housing costs more, everything costs more. Like what's going on? Why does life feel so expensive even when we're making more money? You know? Welcome back to the journal. 5 a.m., 3 a.m., Sam Bam. Don't follow me, walk with me. You know what's funny? When I was younger, I thought adults were exaggerating. I thought they were, I thought they weren't just managing their money correctly. I thought if you worked hard, stayed focused, and made enough money, eventually you'd arrive at this place where finances weren't a constant concern. Then I became an adult. And then, I became a homeowner, a real estate investor, a business owner. And now I'm a husband and father. And I finally understand that they were, what they were talking about. Because life doesn't just get more expensive, life gets bigger. Every stage comes with new responsibilities, new bills, new risk, new people depending on you. I remember when my expenses were simple, rent, a phone bill, maybe a car payment, a little food. That was pretty much it. Now the list feels endless. The mortgages, insurances, utilities, HOA fees, home maintenance, vehicle expenses, health insurance, groceries, unexpected repairs. Oh my goodness. And every single one of these categories seems more expensive than it was a few years ago. Just the other day, I walked into a grocery store. I grabbed what felt like a normal amount of stuff, nothing crazy, a few things for dinner, some drinks, a little fruit, a few items, household items. I got to the register and looked at the total and thought, there's no way, man. But that's become normal. Everybody feels it. You hear it from your friends, you hear it from your coworkers, you hear it from complete stranger, and it's not because everyone suddenly became bad with money. The cost of living has genuinely increased, and there's homeownership. And listen, I'm grateful. I worked hard to buy my homes, and it's something I wanted for a long time. But nobody really prepares you for what happens after you get the keys. People celebrate the purchase. Nobody talks about the maintenance. Nobody talks about the AC, the plumbing, the landscaping, the roof, the random things that break when you least expect it. You save money for one project, and another project appears. You fix one issue, and another one shows up. Sometimes it feels like owning a home is a part time job. Like, seriously. And then came fatherhood. Honestly, this is probably where my perspective changed the most. My son Archer was born recently, and ever since he arrived, I don't think about money the same way I used to anymore. Before, financial decisions was you know mostly something that affected me. Now every decision feels bigger. Now I'm thinking about the future, his future, what opportunities will he have, what kind of life I can create for him. How do I put him in a position where he has choices? How do I make sure he never feels unsupported? And that's where I think my parents feel pressure. That's why they felt pressure. Not because they're chasing luxury, not because they're trying to show off. They're trying to build stability. They're trying to build security. They're trying to build, you know, create something that seems like opportunities. And that's expensive, not financially, emotionally too, because every parent wants to give their child more than what they had. Growing up, my father, worked hard. I want to make that clear. He provided, he sacrificed, he did a lot of things right, but he wasn't present. I played sports my entire life, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, and he never came to a single game, not one. As a kid, you notice that. As a grown man with a son of your own, you understand it differently because now I realize that success isn't just about money. Money matters, of course, it matters, but money isn't the entire story. Success is also about presence. It's about showing up. It's about being there. It's about your child looking into the crowd and seeing you. It's about memories. It's about connection. And maybe that's why so many people feel exhausted because they're trying to balance everything. They're trying to earn money to provide while also trying to be present, while also trying to take care of themselves, while also trying to maintain relationships, while also trying to enjoy life. That's a lot. Then social media enters the picture. And if we're being honest, it makes things worse. Every day we're exposed to people showing us their best moments, luxury vacation, expensive cars, designer clothes, beautiful homes, beautiful wins, perfect relationships. And, if you're not careful, you'll start feeling everyone is ahead of you. But here's something I've learned: a lot of people look successful online. That doesn't mean they're happy. That doesn't mean they're financially secure. That doesn't mean they have peace. And lately, I've started evaluating, just kind of valuing peace more than almost anything else because peace is underrated. Being able to sleep at night is underrated. Being able to pay your bills is underrated. Being able to spend time with family is underrated. Being able to wake up and not panic about money is underrated. When I was younger, success looked different. Success looked like status, recognition, money, attention. The older I get, the more definition changes. It changes. Today, success looks like freedom. Success looks like options. Success looks like being able to spend time with my wife and son. Success looks like creating memories. It looks like building something meaningful. It looks like being present. And maybe that's the answer. Maybe life is more expensive because we're just paying for stuff anymore, Like it's more expensive because we're not just paying for stuff anymore. We're paying for peace of mind, we're paying for flexibility, for security, for the ability to control our time. And those things have become incredibly valuable. I don't think most people are chasing private jets. I think most people just want to feel okay. They want to know their bills are covered. They want to know their family is safe. They want to know, they're making progress. They want to know that all their hard work means something. And honestly, I think that's a pretty reasonable goal. So if you've been feeling pressure lately, if you looked at your paycheck and wondered where it all went, if you want more money than you ever, but somehow it feels stretched thin, you're not alone. A lot of us are trying to figure it out. A lot of us are asking the same questions. A lot of us are working harder than ever while wondering why the finish line keeps moving. But here's what I know: the answer isn't giving up. The answer isn't complaining. The answer is to continue to build, continuing to learn, adapt, continuing to create opportunities, and continuing to show up for the people who matters the most. Because one day my son won't remember my grocery bill. He won't remember that. He won't remember what my mortgage payment is. He won't remember the inflation. He'll remember the conversations. He'll remember the moments. He'll remember the love. And at the end of the day, that's worth more than anything think money can buy. That's where my head is at today. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I've been thinking about. I'm 5 a.m., 3 a.m., Sam Bam. Don't follow me, walk with me.